There are moments in life that divide time into before and after. Moments so powerful that your heart forgets how to beat normally, your breath catches in your chest, and the world narrows to a single sound, a single image, a single sentence. Imagine lying in a dimly lit ultrasound room, staring at a flickering screen, expecting to hear one heartbeat, one tiny rhythm echoing through the silence. Then the technician pauses, smiles, and says something that changes everything. "We're pregnant. We're twins." What follows is not a rehearsed reaction. It's not polished. It's raw. It's disbelief colliding with overwhelming joy. Today, you're about to witness the real ultrasound reaction that turned an ordinary appointment into a life-altering revelation. Finding out you're expecting a baby is already one of life's most emotional milestones, but discovering you're having twins, that's a whole different universe of surprise, excitement, fear, and wonder wrapped into a single heartbeat multiplied by 2. In this video, we explore the unforgettable moment when parents hear the words that double their dreams instantly. We'll relive the anticipation, the silence before the revelation, the shock that floods the room, and the spontaneous reaction that no one can truly prepare for. If you love real, emotional stories that capture life's most powerful turning points, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us until the end, because some moments deserve to be felt all the way through. The room felt smaller than usual that morning, as if the walls themselves sensed the weight of expectation hanging in the air. The soft hum of the ultrasound machine blended with the quiet rhythm of nervous breathing, and every second seemed to stretch longer than the last. There had been jokes in the car about baby names, gentle laughter meant to disguise the tremble of uncertainty, and hopeful glances exchanged as though reassurance could be spoken without words. The appointment was meant to be routine, just another step in the journey of pregnancy, yet beneath the calm surface lay a current of anticipation impossible to ignore. Fingers intertwined tightly, not out of fear but out of awe for what might soon appear on the glowing screen. The gel was cool, the lights dimmed slightly and time began to bend. It was the kind of moment that feels suspended between reality and dream, when the future hovers invisibly above the present, waiting for permission to reveal itself in the form of flickering shadows and rhythmic pulses. The first image appeared in soft grayscale waves, abstract shapes gradually sharpening into something recognizable yet still mysterious. A tiny form, delicate and miraculous, floated within the dark space like a constellation in its own private sky. The heartbeat echoed faintly through the speakers, quick and steady, filling the room with a sound so small yet so monumental that it demanded silence. Tears welled up instantly, not because of surprise, but because of gratitude for life itself unfolding so quietly and powerfully. It was already overwhelming to comprehend that a single heartbeat now existed because of them, because of love, because of timing that aligned in ways no one could fully understand. The mind tried to grasp the reality of diapers, midnight feedings, and first steps, but the heart stayed anchored to that rhythmic sound. Everything else faded. The world outside the clinic disappeared, replaced entirely by the flicker of a new beginning glowing softly in black and white. Then came the pause, a subtle shift in the technician's expression, almost imperceptible but powerful enough to alter the atmosphere instantly. The wand moved slightly, adjusting the angle, tracing across the screen with careful precision. Silence returned, but this time it felt different, heavier, as though something unexpected was waiting just beyond the visible frame. Thoughts raced silently, wondering if something was wrong, if the stillness signaled concern rather than discovery. The heartbeat continued, but there was a new focus on the technician's calm concentration. Fingers tightened again, this time from uncertainty rather than simple anticipation. The screen flickered as another shape emerged, faint at first, like a reflection echoing the first image. It took a few seconds for recognition to settle in, for the mind to connect what the eyes were seeing. Two distinct forms, two separate flickers, two tiny rhythms beating independently yet in harmony, rewriting the entire narrative of the morning without a single dramatic announcement. The words arrived gently but landed with the force of a tidal wave. "We're pregnant. With twins." The sentence seemed to hover in the air before fully registering, as if reality itself needed a moment to catch up. Shock surfaced first, widening eyes and freezing breath in a suspended second of disbelief. The brain tried to calculate logistics immediately, doubling everything from cribs to college funds, from sleepless nights to birthday candles. Yet before practicality could dominate, emotion surged forward like sunlight breaking through clouds. Laughter erupted unexpectedly, mixed with tears that refused to stay contained. It was not a graceful reaction, not composed or curated, but raw and beautifully chaotic. The idea of one life growing inside had already felt miraculous. The realization of two felt almost mythic. The room that once felt small now seemed vast with possibility, stretching far beyond the clinic walls into a future suddenly transformed by the presence of two tiny souls. Joy does not arrive quietly when multiplied. It expands, filling every corner of the body until it becomes impossible to sit still. There was an instinctive glance at each other, a look that carried years of shared memories and unspoken promises, now amplified by this unexpected blessing. It was as though the universe had decided that love would not simply grow but duplicate. Plans that once seemed carefully structured were instantly rewritten, and yet instead of fear dominating, a strange confidence emerged. If one baby felt manageable, perhaps two would simply mean twice the laughter, twice the tiny hands reaching out, twice the bedtime stories whispered in the dark. The mind flashed forward to matching outfits, synchronized giggles, and secret twin languages invented in cribs placed side by side. Even the anxieties that tried to surface were softened by awe. The realization settled gradually. Life had just become more intense, more demanding, and infinitely more beautiful in a single sentence. Beneath the exhilaration, however, there was also a tremor of vulnerability that no one talks about loudly enough. The responsibility of nurturing two fragile lives carried a weight that pressed gently against the chest. Questions formed silently about health, strength, and the capacity to be enough for both children at once. Would attention stretch thin, or would love somehow expand beyond measurable limits? The ultrasound screen still glowed with proof of their existence, two separate spaces pulsing with promise, and that visual anchor offered reassurance stronger than any spoken advice. The heart understood something the mind struggled to calculate. Love is not divided when shared. It is multiplied. The fear did not vanish completely, but it shifted into motivation, into a quiet determination to rise to whatever challenge awaited. Parenthood had already begun in that room, not just biologically but emotionally, reshaping identity in real time with breathtaking speed. As the appointment continued, measurements were taken and medical explanations provided. Yet everything sounded slightly distant, as if filtered through layers of astonishment. Words like fraternal and identical floated past, technical distinctions attempting to define what already felt miraculous beyond definition. There was something poetic about seeing two beginnings unfold simultaneously, like parallel stories destined to intertwine from the very first heartbeat. The ultrasound images were printed carefully, tangible evidence of the moment that would soon be shared with family and friends. Imagining the reactions of grandparents, siblings, and close friends added another layer of excitement, as though the joy was already rippling outward beyond the clinic walls. The thought of making that phone call, of watching shock transform into celebration on familiar faces, brought a fresh wave of energy. This was not simply personal news, it was a generational event, a doubling of legacy that would echo through family history for decades to come. Walking out of the clinic felt surreal, as though gravity itself had shifted slightly. The same parking lot, the same car, the same city streets looked different under the weight of this new reality. Every passing stroller suddenly carried deeper meaning, every playground seemed like a glimpse into the future waiting patiently ahead. The world had not changed for anyone else, yet for them it had expanded infinitely. Conversations in the car were rapid and overlapping, laughter punctuated by moments of stunned silence as the magnitude of twins truly settled in. There was a growing awareness that this story would be told again and again, each retelling preserving the rawness of the original reaction. It was the kind of memory destined to become family legend, replayed at birthday parties and graduation dinners, always beginning with the same astonished phrase and ending with gratitude for a surprise too perfect to have planned. That evening, the ultrasound photos were placed gently on the kitchen table, illuminated by soft household light rather than clinical brightness. Seeing the images in that ordinary setting made the extraordinary feel even more real. Two tiny forms, side by side, already sharing space and story before taking their first breath. The house felt different, as if it too understood that its rooms would soon echo with double cries and double footsteps. Practical thoughts began to resurface, this time infused with excitement rather than anxiety. A second crib would need to fit somewhere. The nursery theme might need to accommodate two distinct personalities yet to reveal themselves. Names were revisited, now considered in pairs, seeking harmony without losing individuality. It became clear that preparation would be intense, but beneath every logistical plan lay an unwavering sense of wonder. Life had offered a surprise that demanded courage, adaptability, and above all, immense love. Sleep that night came slowly, interrupted by flashes of grayscale images and echoing heartbeats remembered vividly in the quiet darkness. The mind replayed the technician's pause, the subtle shift that preceded the revelation, analyzing it as if decoding a treasured secret. There was something sacred about being entrusted with two lives at once, something humbling that reshaped priorities instantly. Career ambitions, daily irritations, minor inconveniences all shrank in importance compared to the magnitude of what was growing unseen. The future no longer felt abstract. It felt embodied in two tiny figures captured in a single ultrasound frame. Dreams expanded to include synchronized first steps, shared birthday cakes, and the inevitable comparisons that twins inspire in curious onlookers. Yet beyond the imagined milestones was a deeper promise: to protect, nurture, and guide two distinct souls who happened to begin their journey side by side. In the days that followed, sharing the news became an emotional event in itself, each reveal sparking a fresh wave of disbelief and celebration. The initial announcement of pregnancy already carried joy, but adding the word twins transformed reactions into unforgettable spectacles. Gasps, laughter, tears, and stunned silences mirrored the original ultrasound moment, creating a cascade of shared astonishment. It felt as though the surprise multiplied not only within the womb but within every heart that received the news. Advice poured in from every direction, stories of other twin parents offering both warnings and encouragement. Amid the noise, there remained a quiet center of certainty. This was meant to be their story. The spontaneity of their reaction in the ultrasound room had not been staged or anticipated. It had been pure truth responding to unexpected blessing. That authenticity would become a guiding force in navigating the months ahead. As weeks turned into months, the reality of twins shifted from abstract amazement to tangible preparation. Doctor visits became more frequent, milestones carefully monitored, each update reinforcing the miracle unfolding steadily. The body adapted in ways that felt almost superhuman, carrying double the life and double the promise with remarkable resilience. Strangers began to notice sooner than expected, curious smiles forming as the idea of twins was shared. There was pride in saying the word aloud, a sense of belonging to a unique chapter of parenthood that few experience firsthand. The initial shock softened into steady anticipation, yet the memory of that first reaction remained vivid and powerful. It served as a reminder that some of life's greatest blessings arrive disguised as surprises, challenging comfort zones while expanding joy beyond previous limits. The nursery gradually transformed from an empty room into a sanctuary of expectation. Two cribs stood side by side like silent sentinels guarding future dreams. Tiny clothes were folded carefully, paired not in identical sets but in complementary colors that honored individuality within unity. Each purchase carried a sense of preparation not just for babies, but for a new identity as parents of twins. The ultrasound photo found a permanent place on the wall, framed as the origin story of everything to come. Looking at it daily rekindled the same awe felt in that dimly lit clinic room. The journey had progressed, yet that single sentence continued to echo as the defining pivot point. It marked the moment when ordinary plans dissolved and extraordinary possibility took their place, reshaping expectations with breathtaking speed. As the due date approached, anticipation returned in waves reminiscent of that first appointment. The unknown loomed again, this time not about how many heartbeats existed, but about who these two little people would become. Would they mirror each other in temperament, or grow into strikingly different personalities bonded by shared beginnings? The imagination stretched forward into years filled with partnership and independence, intertwined delicately through every preparation and every anxious thought. The memory of the real ultrasound reaction remained a source of strength. It was proof that even in shock, joy could dominate. It was evidence that love could expand instantly to accommodate twice the blessing. And above all, it was a reminder that life's most transformative moments often arrive quietly, hidden within routine appointments, waiting patiently to reveal a surprise powerful enough to change everything forever. Some moments cannot be scripted, rehearsed, or predicted. They arrive unexpectedly, rewriting the story you thought you understood and replacing it with something greater than you imagined. The real ultrasound reaction to discovering twins is more than shock or excitement. It is the instant when love expands beyond previous limits and courage rises to meet a new reality. In that dimly lit room, fear and joy coexist, but joy ultimately wins. Life rarely asks whether we feel ready, it simply invites us forward. And sometimes, it doubles the blessing just to remind us that our capacity to love is far larger than we ever believed.